I'm going to assume that the children have got a really good grasp now of place value, so they understand how numbers are written using these columns, and they understand the value of the digits, and they've had lots of practice of making them with the base 10 equipment and with place value cards and lots of other equipment that we can use, and they're very familiar with all of the Numicon resources that schools would use. So I'm also going to assume that they've got really good rapid recall that they will have learnt in year 2, so they know all their number bonds and they've got basic understanding of multiply and divide by 10. So I'm going to assume that they're where they should be, ready for me to start to teach them formal methods. Formal methods means putting digits in columns to do the operations. Prior to formal methods would be informal methods where you're using partitioning and you're using number sentences and you're using your rapid recall and number bonds to do that. So when I start teaching column methods, you're assuming there's a lot of knowledge already there, and you're going to start off with a very simple method, and that's only so that they understand the principle so that they can apply it to much larger numbers, which they wouldn't be able to do mentally. But at this stage, what we're actually showing them would be done faster mentally. So it's understanding that you're teaching a principle. So let's start by showing how I would use my concrete apparatus so that they've got a really strong concept of how to teach addition with the carrying and exchanging that they're going to need to do. So let's choose our numbers carefully. So I'm going to do add 17. So I choose the numbers to make sure that these two numbers here bridge 10, because that's what I want to practice. So I'm going to make the number first. So 20 and 5. Using your Numicon arrays so you can count in twos. And 17. They'll recognise those shapes from the Numicon. So the first thing I do is I add up the lowest value column. It's really important to remember that, lowest value. So I'm always looking to see if I can make a group of 10. So let's see if I can do it. 2, 4, 6, I move that one there, 8, 10. And if I've got a group of 10, I have to exchange that for a 10 because you can't leave it in the ones column. And I'm going to carry it over into the tens column to be added next. So I've now got a 12 because 5 and 7 make 12. So what I'm going to do at this stage is I'm going to say I've got 2 left in the ones column and I've carried the 110 over, and that's where the little carry comes in down at the bottom. I'm then going to add that to the tens column and I'm going to count in 20s now. So 20, 40. So I've got 40 or 4 tens. So I'm going to put that in the tens column like that. And that's how you're making a link from the practical work to the abstract way that it's recorded. So let's try that if we go up into the hundreds. So I'm going to make sure I choose numbers that mean I'm going to have to exchange tens and ones. So I'm going to have 158 add 274. So I'm choosing my numbers really carefully. So I'm going to make that number first. So you'll see in doing this whether the children actually understand the place value system. So I'm going to have 8, always in twos, 2, 4, 6, and there's my Numicon shape. And then I'm adding 274, and I'm going to count again in 20s because it's a lot quicker. 20, 40, 60, and one more is 70. So there's an assumption here that children can count in tens, and they do a lot of work on that in year 1 and year 2 so that they're able to do this. So you need to check that they've got really good number counting and number bond skills. And 4 ones. So I'm going to start with my lowest value column. So I've got to make a set, see if I can make a group of 10. So I know I've got 8 here. I don't need to count them again. So I'm counting on from 8. 8, 10. I'm going to exchange that for a 10. And that leaves me with 2 in my ones column and 1 10, which I'm going to carry over into there. And you can see that 12, can't you? That 1 there and the 2 ones, that 1 10. Now I'm going to add that together and see how many 10s I've got. Right, because I understand the base 10 system, I know that if I have 10 10s, I can exchange it for 100, because you can see that 10 10s is the same as 100, and that's because as you move columns, the number, each digit gets 10 times bigger. So I'm going to count 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So I know I can exchange that for 100, but it has to go. You can't just about see it at the bottom, and I've got 3 10s left. So I've actually got 130. So I've got 3 10s, and I've got to carry my 100, and then I'm going to see that I've got 20. Sorry, I've got 100, 200, 300, I've got 400. So that's the language we use. We use the language of grouping, exchanging, and carrying. You need to talk about lowest value columns and the fact that this is not just a 5, it's either a 50 or 5 10s and so on. And then you just develop the same language up using higher numbers.